This is the second video in the free resources series, and today we're going to be looking at free online resources to help you take your art to the next level. Everything I mentioned will have its link in the description, so you can be sure to find it there. Now, you remember the little deal we made? If you find the video helpful, smash like and subscribe for more. Okay, now let's get to the good stuff. Lessons! DrawBox. DrawBox is the only thing on the lessons list right now because for beginners, it's the only one you need, and no free resource list would be complete without DrawBox. I learned an awful lot from this website, which is why I'm recommending it. And I'll quote the page itself to explain it because it's super accurate. Quote, DrawBox is a set of free exercise-based lessons that focus on the fundamentals, the skills you'll need to make sense of all the other resources and tutorials out there. First, we focus on the basic mechanics of mark making and how to use your arm. By the end, we develop a strong understanding of form, 3D space, and construction. End quote. DrawBox offers completely free, structured lessons that start from the very basics of drawing and proceed all the way to complex technical perspective in construction, all the while remaining easy to understand and practice. Each lesson has a recommended homework assignment that lets you practice the lesson and see your own improvement over time. At varying points throughout the lessons, students are encouraged to attempt a series of challenges, such as to draw 250 boxes, 25 wheels, or 100 treasure chests. These challenges reinforce the lessons and provide plenty of fundamentals practice, and you will be absolutely shocked at how much better your drawing is after drawing 250 boxes. Seriously. This is because when we want to draw something complex, we break it down into its simplest parts, and a lot of things are made out of cubes. As an added bonus, DrawBox has a Discord community with nearly 12,000 members, so you're sure to find all the support you need to bring your 2D fundamentals to the next level. If you want a tried and tested, absolutely free way to improve your 2D drawings, go to DrawBox and get started today. You won't regret it. Gesture! The following are some of the free resources I've used to study anatomy, gesture, and pose. Each has their own assets for reference and each has their own quirks, but they're all essentially the same. Reference sites for you to use to improve your drawing. Let's start with Quick Poses. Quick Poses is an unbelievably good resource for anatomy, gesture, and pose practice. I spent hours on this page. The content of the references focuses only on the human form, but it's extremely useful for that. You can do timed or free practice, and they offer a nice little certificate that you can achieve from regular study, which is a nice little bit of motivation. Next is Line of Action. Line of Action is a collection of reference photos of real-world imagery, very similar to Quick Poses, except it covers a much broader selection of subject matter, including humans, animals, architecture, hands and feet, and very usefully, expressions. And like Quick Poses, you can customize your experience in terms of content and time. Sketch Daily. Sketch Daily is another reference tool similar to the previous two, but with a different library and different presentation. Pick your poison here, but each of these is a solid option as a free reference resource. Earth's World on Instagram. Now this one might seem a little odd, but if you're trying to learn to capture a likeness or do caricature work, Earth's World posts nothing but pictures of faces, all of them interesting. No super glitzy models here, just regular people in candid photos that you can learn from. It's an awesome resource. And thank you to Earth's World for posting these awesome pictures. Posing! Pose My Art. There are a lot of options for free posing tools out there. I use Pose My Art because they have these simplified models, which they call bots, that have excellent landmarks for the human figure. This prevents me from tracing the form for my pose, and instead encourages me to recognize how the simplified shapes of the body fit together so that I can better draw them myself. Another equally good option is Just Sketch Me, which is basically the same, just with a different interface. Again, pick your poison, they're both just as good. Nowadays, of course, I just use Clip Studio Paint's built-in posing if I need it, but that's for another video. Inspiration! I'm gonna start with some more obscure sources for inspiration, and then we'll move on to the more familiar ones. Let's start with CharacterDesignReference.com. This is a colossal resource for anyone interested in character design. It offers almost any reference you could want for virtually every conceivable type of character, as well as interviews with industry professionals, art challenges, anatomy tips, and much, much more. It's an incredible site to meander through and thoroughly inspiring. Spend a bit of time on this site and just see if you don't start designing characters. Next up is Android Arts. Now I know it looks like a 90s website, but believe me, it is full of gold. Arnie, the site's creator, seems to have an endless interest in drawing and studying nerdy, retro things. Arnie's an excellent artist, has unique insights into game and character design, and the site offers lots of awesome sketches to study and learn from. Highly recommended when you want something a little off the beaten path. Now the big ones. Pinterest. Pinterest has about all the inspiration you could ever hope to find, and it's super simple to curate your own interests. I've been obsessed with this bubblegum mech aesthetic lately. It's so good. The more you add to your collections, the better Pinterest becomes at tracking your stylistic preferences and helping you build a visual library that you can reference in the future. ArtStation. ArtStation is basically the industry standard online portfolio site for professional and amateur artists alike. You will find an insane amount of good artwork here to use as inspiration and as reference. Many of these works on ArtStation are industry standards, so you can expect a high level of quality, which makes studying from them a pretty safe bet for improvement. Prompt generator! If you want to draw something but your brain is feeling smooth smooth, I recommend using an art prompts generator to give you some direction. The best parts about prompt generators is that you can simply cycle through them until something sparks inspiration. And prompts from an outside source can often help you start drawing outside of your comfort zone, which is a very good thing. So here are some prompt sites that I found useful. Art prompts. On the Art Prompts website, a single click of a button and you're on your way to drawing a thing. I like this website because of its utter simplicity. Select the category and boom, you have a prompt. If you don't like it, just hit refresh until inspiration strikes. The Pigeon Letters Drawing Prompts. This website offers a simple generator that provides a subject, a theme, and a color palette. Extremely good for quick ideas. And a cheeky little challenge to run with the first prompt you get. See? So get out of your comfort zone and draw something new. Magatsu Art Prompts. This website allows you to select from simple, medium, and elaborate drawing prompts, and they are exactly as advertised. Simple makes short, concise prompts. Somewhere in between simple and elaborate gives you slightly more detail, and elaborate is really quite specific, so pick your poison here. Color tools! These are tools I've used to help learn color theory or simply to make some color selections for projects to save for later use. I found these incredibly useful both for digital painting as well as my graphic design work, and I recommend bookmarking whichever you prefer. Paleton. Paleton is a color scheme designer that offers a very simple interface for designing palettes. Select your base color, then choose from monochromatic, adjacent, triad, tetrad, or custom color relationships, and dial in your palette from there. You can select any of the colors in the working palette box to identify them, you can see examples of your palette at work, and you can save your palette by selecting Export and choosing your desired output. This website includes more detailed instructions right below the palette tool if you want to dig into it a little bit deeper. Can't recommend this one enough. Coolers. Coolers is, simply put, a palette generator. You can explore trending palettes or make your own. Just select Start the Generator and hit the spacebar until you find a palette you like. Each color within the palette can be checked for contrast, adjusted within its shades, or saved for later. Similar to Paleton, you can then export your palette for later use within your projects. A little known gem on this page is the Contrast Checker, which allows you to see how much contrast exists between two selected colors. Just input your hex codes and the site will tell you how those colors will read. Communities! For the sake of simplicity and time, I'll only list these two Reddit communities as resources. There are zillions of art communities on the web, and I can't hope to list them all. But these two subreddits are excellent resources for anyone with art-related questions. Many of the resources that I have listed here, I found through these communities. Go check them out. Mega Collections! I've stumbled across 3 colossal collections of resources for artists. The lists are focused largely on game development, but include a truly insane amount of resources for 2D and 3D artists alike. With these lists, I found things I would never have otherwise known about, so I want you to have access to them as well. AGMMNN's Awesome Blender List. I'm guessing that's supposed to read as Agamemnon, but anyway, probably the single most comprehensive list of Blender resources I have ever encountered. This list is an incredible resource for people looking to cut through all of the clutter of Blender Market and the rest of the interwebs. Anyone interested in 3D and Blender should be diving deep into this list, as there is for sure something for everyone. Thank you to Agamemnon for putting this list together. Not President 35's awesome Learn Game Dev list. I'll just quote the list's author to explain this gigantic list of resources you see here. Quote, "This list is aimed at learning the craft of game development. It has been curated to offer general knowledge, resources, and hiring advice for a variety of disciplines and roles under the game dev umbrella." End quote. This huge collection includes free resources for 2D and 3D artists, so go and check it out. And thank you, Not President 35, for putting this list together. And finally, Cavex's Game Dev Resources list. Another huge list devoted to the art and game development. Once again, the list includes resources for 2D and 3D artists. A nice feature of this list is the addition of tags to show if the resource is free, limited free, open source, or paid. Thank you to Cavex for compiling this list as well. Now I'm going to take this opportunity to say an extra special thanks to these patrons for making these videos possible. Bread News Bears, C. Unger, Pie Brown, The Comet Lord, and LowKey. I couldn't do it without your support, so thank you. What's that? You're still around? Well then welcome to the Deuces Club. If you stayed to the end of the video, that means you're a member of the Deuces Club, and that means you're extra awesome. And if you comment Deuces down below, I'll add your name to the Deuces Club list in the pinned comment on my next videos. That concludes the second installment of the Free Tools for Artists series, and in the final video, I've got a list of the best free online educators for you to learn from. I will see you in the next one. Deuces.